successful models.
Content about
So, see the
one
topics.
more.
The digitalization of many professions around the world has contributed to creating a new, competitive, and innovative labor market. Self-employed people who mostly work remotely have been rising sharply in numbers in the past years. These people are called freelancers. Wherever they are based, freelancers are increasingly using digital innovation to work on their own terms, with the flexibility that their lives demand. That's not just good for them, it's good for businesses too. It makes it possible for businesses to tap into workers with very specialized skills when they need them. It also allows those freelancers to control the parameters of how they work. Freelancing offers work opportunities that anyone with an internet connection can do, with the option of choosing from a variety of job descriptions on many given platforms. The popularity of freelancing is attributed to many factors, including flexibility, competitive pricing, the plethora of opportunities available. This growing field of work, combined with economic underdevelopment compared to more developed economies, has contributed to the formation of large freelance communities in the Western Balkans. But how can we make freelancing drive inclusive economic development? With me is Elena Dimova, who is a certified digital marketing specialist who has been freelancing for 4 years now. She's constantly hustling to cover all bases, and so far, she's held countless roles in the digital marketing space, including as outreach manager, community manager, search engine optimization analyst, and content writer. Elena, thank you for being part of this episode.
Happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
With me is also Andi Stefanlari, who is a senior development practitioner with extensive experience in private sector development, working for a Helvetas implemented project called RESI Albania, a youth employment project in Albania of the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation. As intervention manager for the ICT sector, his areas of expertise are designing and implementing market systems development interventions for private sector growth and job creation. Andi, thank you for joining.
My pleasure. Thank you for the invitation.
And Elena Ivanova, who is the director of Impact Foundation, Reconomy's implementing partner in North Macedonia. Elena manages the pilot intervention in self-employment through freelancing in North Macedonia. She is also responsible for designing market systems development interventions for employability, mostly in the area of digitalization. Elena, thank you for joining this episode.
Thank you for having me.
A 5-day, 40-hour, 9-to-5 work week sounds normal to most of us. But for you, Elena Dimova, perhaps the norm is different, right? Like most freelancers, your work week must be a continuous cycle of alterations based on your client's needs, is it? What is it like for you to be a freelancer?
Well, what is now freelancing for me was not when I was starting. So I'll just go with the idea of what is freelancer, what is being a freelancer and freelancing for me now. So for me now, freelancing is freedom. Freedom of location, so location freedom, because I can basically work whenever or wherever I want. I've been to Maldives, Dubai, Greece, so it doesn't really matter as long as I have a good internet connection. It gives me the location freedom. It's also time freedom. So I have flexible hours. I organize myself, like whether I want to work in the evening or in the morning, it doesn't really matter as long as the work is done. And of course, financial freedom, because the thing is that when I was starting, I was new, I didn't have case studies, and also the income was low. But right now I am at this stage where I sell value, and I'm paid by the value I provide for the clients, not by the hours I checked working. So it's not really the idea to work 8 hours a day as long as I give the value. It can be 2 hours, 3 hours. So it definitely is freedom for me.
Right. And what does it take to enter this field of freelancing? What kind of skills does one need?
Yeah. For me, it took courage to enter this field, because having to show yourself to the world out there, like, this is me, I can do this for you. And the competition is vast, like enormous. It's worldwide competition. It's not just a company, a local company that's your competitor, but it's also a big competition. So for me, it took courage, definitely. And as for the skills, in my area, in the digital marketing area, the most needed skills are copywriting. I think everyone starts with copywriting. Then social media is so trending right now. Other skills that are trending are coding, web design, graphic design, and so on. But you cannot do any of this if you don't have a good level of English. And what I've learned, you cannot even set up an Upwork profile or Indeed profile without knowing the G Suite, like knowing how to share Google documents, knowing how to import new spreadsheets, Google spreadsheets, knowing how to share a document, because at the beginning, like, this is very low standard. If you ask someone, like, can you share this document to me, and the access is not granted. So this is like very rookie mistake. So without these skills, English and definitely G Suite skills, you cannot even enter this market.
And are you affected by the fact, as a freelancer in your country, that you're unable to legally register yourself as a self-employed individual? Do you need to create a company under your name? Could you explain?
I don't feel the need to create a company under my name, definitely. But yes, I'm affected. For example, these days I'm looking for solutions to prove to the banks that I have a solid income that continues, but they do not want to give me a loan. And I didn't need the loan to buy an apartment, for example, or a car, whatever. So I'm just finding solutions. How can you not see what I'm earning, that it's almost every month even bigger than it was the month before, and still I'm not eligible to take a loan. So yes, I'm affected by that.
Freelancing is one area where projects that apply the market systems development approach, like Reconomy, Resale Albania, and others, can and should invest in. It is in our interest, right, to help the workforce in our partner countries to become more versatile and adaptive. Projects focusing on economic transformation and youth employment, like Resale Albania, are well suited to support the growth of the freelancer community through systemic interventions. Ande, could you share with us about the experience of Resale Albania?
Thank you, Sabine. Resale Albania is one of the Helvetas projects that has implemented the MSD approach from the beginning of its operations in 2013. And we have designed systemic and inclusive interventions using an MSD approach in all the three pillars of our project: private sector development, career guidance and labor market intermediation, and skills development. In private sector development, we focus our support to enable the private sector to grow and create quality jobs for young people in Albania. And we are supporting currently the ICT sector, the tourism sector, and the agribusiness sector. Within the ICT portfolio, we have a wide range of interventions with lead firms, service providers, and public agencies, all aiming at improving employment opportunities for young people. However, we also recognize the the flexibility the technology provides, and the changing nature of work. We recognize that there are opportunities for self-employment, and there was a freelancing community thriving in Albania as well. Hence, we jumped at a new entry point and the market opportunity to support the freelancing community in Albania. And we designed an intervention together with a lead firm, with an IT outsourcing lead firm in Albania that had quite connections and market access in the Germany, Switzerland, and Austria markets. And their idea was to set up an online platform that would link buyers with projects, IT projects from these countries, with freelancers in Albania. And the idea is that the platform operates commercially. The firm charges fees for their connections, and this would make it a systemic intervention. Therefore, this new platform, freelanceit.io, is offering matching services between foreign buyers and the freelancers in Albania, but also vetting services and quality control in order to facilitate that these projects can be a success for freelancers in Albania. And already the platform was launched in spring 2021, and it has been populated by more than 70 freelancers working already with more than 20 projects, software development projects with buyers from these countries. Hence, this new platform has become already sustainable, and we consider it an inclusive and systemic intervention that is contributing to the thriving freelancing community. The company has promoted it to universities, accelerators, and other actors of the ICT ecosystem, and more freelancers are joining it, therefore increasing its usage and sustainability. This was the main intervention that we have contributed to the freelancing community. Another intervention that supports this community is also organizing tech talks from lead firms, which aim at introducing new technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning. And these are networking events where people meet and create also business opportunities between firms and also remote workers or freelancers. And this also has become a sustainable intervention, thus contributing to the freelancers in Albania to a new profession.
So, and as one of the interventions of Reconomy, Helvetas has partnered with Impact Foundation to create a sustainable model of education for future generations of freelancers in North Macedonia. Elena Ivanova, could you explain what does the initiative focus on? What's the main goal?
Thank you, Sabine. Well, Impact Foundation was established as a private sector development foundation, but soon we found out that it is not only the formal forms of employment that we have in the country, not just in the country, but also globally, that we can gain income and generate income and employment and secure a future for the youth mainly. Then we realized that there are freelancers in Macedonia, especially about digital freelancing, just that they are not empowered. They don't have information where to find out more how to become a freelancer. And in many cases, they don't even have the technical knowledge that the freelancing jobs ask for. So our project, now in piloting phase, is focusing on 3 intervention areas. The first one is education. This means that we cooperate with all the training centers in the country who are willing to provide technical knowledge and also freelancing courses, how to become a freelancer, to everyone who is interested to participate. The second intervention area is the private sector itself, where we try to get as much as possible companies, especially the ones in the startup community, to see the benefits of using freelance work in their own projects. And the third intervention area, which already Elena Dimova mentioned, is the area where we are setting the ground for freelancing in the country. And this means even changing the policy and regulations that are needed for freelancing to boost, I would say.
And according to recent reports from the International Labor Organization and the World Bank, labor markets are constantly evolving, right? So, for example, traditional employment is becoming less secure. Only half of the world's workers hold salaried jobs. So new employment models are on the rise. And these include part-time, temporary, own work, informal and unpaid family work, especially among young women. So in your opinion, Elena Dimova, how are women affected by this?
Yeah, so I would say that both genders are affected, not just women, because it really makes a difference if you are on a flat pay or you are paid an hourly rate. If you are paid by the hour worked, it sucks. So really, if you're not working, you're not getting paid. But if you are paid a flat pay, that's the same amount every month plus bonuses, and it's okay if you go on a maternity leave, for example. So the company allows that. So I would say it really depends on the freelancing contract you have, and I would not exclude women. Only because if we are talking about maternity leave, for example, the husband is also needed. So there is paternity leave. So if he works, if he is paid by the hour, he won't get any money, in the house. So that's my opinion on this. And of course, it's my opinion as well that nowadays no job is a secure job. Like working in a company, you start to you stop bringing value to the CEO and you're let go. So no job is a secure job. I feel more secure working as a freelancer than working in our local companies, for example, because I know what I can, and I know that the Americans, for example, because I'm concentrated on the US market, really appreciate it. They do not care where you're coming from or how many are you planning to have a child, more children, or whatever. So really, I feel secure being a freelancer.
And also many people are excluded also because of where they live, right? So many of the vulnerable groups, such as women and youth, are in particularly disadvantaged locations, such as remote geographical areas or urban slums, where it's difficult to have a voice or access services, jobs, and to participate fully in economic life. So my question is to you, Elena Ivanova, how will you tackle this kind of exclusion of these vulnerable groups through freelancing? How will freelance jobs help the youth, and in particularly women, but also men, as Elena Dimova was mentioning, to overcome exclusion because of where they live?
You're right. Just by deciding that you will have a digital career for yourself, I would call it that way, or to perform a job that can be done digitally, you give yourself, as Elena mentioned, flexibility for your location. So for us, it is an additional stimulation, in fact, to reach in every location this way, and especially rural areas, because we realize that even in Macedonia, which is such a small country compared to even other countries in the Balkans, we cannot be that centralized. When we started the intervention with education, trying to get the technical knowledge available to everyone who wants to become a freelancer, we realized that the biggest training centers are in Skopje. What we did immediately is that we were contracting those of the training centers that already have collaboration with training centers all over the country. And then the problem goes further. What about the people, especially youth, children, who do not have computer in their homes? Then we realize that we need to go to all possible areas helping youth, and those are usually donor-funded projects-based organizations that have place where people can come and use the internet and the computer for free. And this is because of them being given the chance not just for career, but also to be informed. So they will become our information hubs where we disseminate the information about our project, what we're doing, and how we can do it. Furthermore, you mentioned the vulnerable groups that we want to include in this project. It is not only youth and women, there are also people with disabilities that we really want to help to get on board. And when we mentioned women, we were really looking into single moms because there is other side of the coin. When a single parent has to take care of the children, the flexible hours are the one who are deciding what kind of job you will perform. So we already defined those target groups. Our main important goal now is to disseminate first the information about the project and about the freelancing, and then to give the chance to everyone, even with equipment, to start learning, and then later, if they decide to do so, to perform some kind of a task that they can charge online and become freelancers.
Thank you very much, Elena. And how did RISI Albania tackle this kind of exclusion of these vulnerable groups through freelancing, Andy?
Yes, we also recognize this digital skills gap that exists, like it was mentioned in the case of North Macedonia. It's also in Albania, where most of the industry is concentrated in the capital of Tirana. And while the other municipalities are very behind, and people in these municipalities and rural areas have limited access to knowledge, skills, and also inclusion in this industry. But we used the advantages of technology. That technology is borderless, as it was also mentioned. Hence, for example, to give an example, our partner that is managing the freelancing online platform has promoted it also outside of Tirana by using social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, to young people outside of Tirana. Targeting these vulnerable groups, and more freelancers from these areas have joined the platform. And most importantly, their vetting services that they assure quality control are not based on location. They can accept anyone working from anywhere, but are based on skills and experience. Hence, this platform enables access to young people everywhere in the country, unless they meet the skills requirements of buyers for those IT projects. We have had cases of freelancers from other towns like Shkodra and even small municipalities, Shijak, and others that have joined already the platform. Also, other partners of RISI Albania, for example, training providers, are based in Albania, are based in Tirana, and we recognize that they need to increase their reach out to young people, and we supported them with developing online courses, placing content online, and this has also contributed to increasing skills to young people located outside the capital, and maybe also enabling them to become freelancers in the long run. Another partner, the Association of Business Service Leaders, which is about the ICT and BPO sector, they have organized events outside of Tirana, in Korcha, Shkodra cities, where they brought companies from Tirana and linked them to skilled young people in these cities in order to create new business opportunities for those young people who might be remote workers or freelancers, and creating new business linkages. So these are some of the ways we have already supported this to bridge the skills gap, and it is in our focus also for phase 3 that we started now in November of this year, and will continue for 4 more years.
Andi and the two Elenas, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sabine.
Thank you, Sabine.
Helvetas is carrying out many activities across the Western Balkans, such as the RISI Albania project, as well as our regional program Economy. Through increased regional communication, learning from one another, and using collaborative spaces to connect, Helvetas and other organizations can impact the exciting future of jobs in the Western Balkans and beyond in the Eastern Partnership region. I'm Sabine, your podcast host. Thank you for watching and listening. Another round of Inclusive Blog powered by Economy.